This is problem number 35 from page 109, section 1.3 in the pre-calculus book. The directions say to multiply or divide as indicated and simplify the answer. So this one involves multiplication, and we are multiplying to imaginary numbers. Square root of -6 is an imaginary number, and square root of -2 is also an imaginary number. And they don't always behave like real numbers, so we can't treat them the same way we treat real numbers. If it was simply square root 6 times square root 2, real number times real number, we could multiply them together, square root 6 times 2, and get square root 12. That works for real numbers. However, the square root of -6 times the square root of -2 is not the same as the square root of -6 times -2, which would also be the square root of 12 if you multiply -6 and -2. That is not the case. What we have to do instead is, before we do any multiplication or in another problem, any division, we need to change the form. We change the square root of -6 to I square root 6, and the square root of -2 changes to I square root 2. Square root 3 stays the same, it was not imaginary. And now we can start to multiply. I times I is I squared. Square root 6 times square root 2, now those are real, we can treat them like we normally would, that's square root 12 over square root 3. You can reduce square root 12 over square root 3, that will be square root 4. Now we have I squared times square root 4. Square root 4 is 2, so now we have 2I squared, and I squared, remember, is -1. So we have 2 times -1, so our answer is -2. Chances are, if you got the wrong answer, you probably got an answer of +2 because of this mistake over here. Not realizing that you first needed to change the form. Sometimes I casually say, pull the I out, although that sounds kind of gruesome to pull out an I, so that might not be the best phrasing.